It is really important for Sunderland to have a comprehensive international strategy because of the links that we have now which plug us into the global economy, and the rest of the world becomes very important in that respect.
One of the things that really matters to us is that our young people who grow up in our schools and come through the education system have an opportunity to meet people from other cultures, to find out about other cultures, and that we think that really helps to prepare them either for the world of work when they're older, but also for the opportunities that might be out there for them later to study abroad or to go and work abroad further down the line.
Really happy to be here today and to meet a lot of children from schools in this region.
As Sunderland more and more becomes to depend on the rest of Europe to earn its living in the world, it will be really important for our citizens of the future to understand the different areas that we deal with.
In the international team, we're responsible for each of the international partnerships that we have in the city, so our town twinning partnerships with Saint-Nazaire in France, Essen in Germany, Harbin in China and Washington DC in the United States. And we work very closely with other partners across the city to try and create as many opportunities as we can, trying to connect our international links into everybody's core business that they're trying to achieve.
The Crafts project, it actually stands for Comenius Regio, Action for Fair Trade in Schools. This project is an EU-funded project which is funded by the Comenius Regio programme. It's a programme which seeks to bring together schools with their local authorities as well as an additional partner in each of two countries on a topic of mutual interest and importance. In our case, the Crafts project is on the topic of fair trade, which we selected because it was a topic of huge interest and growth for both Sunderland and Saint-Nazaire. And the two cities were particularly eager to work together on a new Comenius Regio project based on the success that we'd had in a first project which looked at a different topic around that of sustainability.
Education's really at the heart of what we're trying to do. So interestingly, it was education that was at the beginning of the Saint-Nazaire partnership, and still that's something that we place a lot of importance on now. And that's for the reasons in terms of trying to help young people to experience other cultures and to then be able to go forward and fulfil their potential.
There are 4 schools within Sunderland who take part in the project, as well as 3 in Saint-Nazaire. There's the local authority, Sunderland City Council, and the Mairie de Saint-Nazaire, as well as also additional partners who bring a particular expertise to the project. So in the UK consortium, it's Shared Interest, who are the world's only 100% fair trade lender. In Saint-Nazaire, there's the Office Municipal de la Jeunesse, who work around education and lots of projects and activities with young people. And there's also Artisans du Monde, who are a fair trade organisation based in their town.
Shared Interest is a community benefit society that acts cooperatively. We support fair trade businesses in the developing world by providing fair finance.
We are not a microfinance organisation providing small short-term loans, nor are we a large social lender like Root Capital lending millions. We lend between $5,000 to $1 million for periods of up to 5 years.
Shared Interest saw the project as a good opportunity to develop our relationships with businesses like, for example, Sunderland Council in the region, and also fair trade schools, but also learn a bit more about fair trade in different countries.
It's been fantastic to build relationships with the schools and to maintain those links throughout the project and to share ideas between us. I think one of the key things was meeting the colleagues from Artisans du Monde and finding out about how they manage their fair trade business in France and how it differs from the way we do things in England. It's just been really, really good.
Nous sommes une association locale une association loi 1901, c'est-à-dire que nous fonctionnons uniquement avec des bénévoles. En France, nous sommes à peu près 160 associations locales qui essayent de défendre, de promouvoir le commerce équitable en France dans l'organisme Artisans du Monde. Et Artisans du Monde est écrit en gros sur nos vitrines à Saint-Nazaire et dans les autres magasins en France.
The project has some quite broad aims, notably around education. At the start, it was very focused on pedagogical approaches, comparing good practice in teaching and learning. We're particularly pleased to be able to work on projects like this with our partner city in France. And we know that we already have really strong relationships established there, so we knew that the project would work well from the start.
Je voudrais dire que je suis satisfait pour 3 raisons d'être ici. Tout d'abord, la première raison, c'est de poursuivre les relations que nous entretenons depuis plus de 60 ans maintenant entre Sunderland et Saint-Nazaire. La deuxième raison, c'est d'être accompagné par les enseignants qui ont rencontré les élèves de Sunderland et les enseignants de Sunderland dans notre projet éducation Comenius Regio 2. Et puis la troisième raison, c'est d'avoir emmené avec nous des gens de Saint-Nazaire qui œuvrent avec Artisans du Monde pour le commerce équitable et d'avoir profité de ce moment sensationnel à Sunderland dans cette semaine du commerce équitable. Fair Trade. Et c'est exceptionnel. Et le Comenius Regio a choisi ce thème du commerce équitable, mais ce sont des actions très concrètes qui se développent actuellement et les prolongements seront très au-delà de nos espérances.
So it was actually during the course of this Comenius Regio project that Sunderland and Saint-Nazaire celebrated the 60th anniversary of their twinning relationship. And so for this we organised lots of different activities and events in both cities, including events at a festival, which we have in Sunderland every year. We organised a bilingual exhibition which was about the history of the relationship that we have, the partnership that we have, as well as the evolution of the two cities independently over the course of the last 6 decades. At the festival we invited lots of the participants who'd been involved in this project to come and take part. They produced some artwork, they contributed to the exhibition, they came to the festival on the day.
On behalf of our city, I'd like to take this opportunity to greet our friends from Saint-Nazaire to welcome you all to the Sunderland Festival. This exhibition helps us to look back at the joint activities that have taken place and to look forward to what we have planned for the future.
Also in Sunderland, we were really proud during the anniversary year to name one of the newest roads in our city, Saint-Nazaire Way, in honour of that partnership. There's already a Sunderland Boulevard in Saint-Nazaire, so we were really keen to reciprocate, and now there's a route which leads along the seafront, which seemed very fitting, which is called Saint-Nazaire Way. It was great that a lot of the people who were involved in this project, this Comenius Regio project, could come and be there for the celebration of the opening of the road with the leader and with the Deputy Mayor of Saint-Nazaire who was here for a project visit at that time.
C'est une très grande surprise pour nous parce que le secret avait bien été gardé. Nous avons découvert cela au dernier moment. Alors pour nous ça représente beaucoup, ça représente un pas de plus dans notre jumelage puisque cette fois il y a quelque chose qui est bien matérialisé, qui est bien écrit. Que Saint-Nazaire est présent à Sunderland, tout comme Sunderland est présent à Saint-Nazaire.
Well, I think it's really important that we have this symbol of our friendship in the city with our partners and colleagues in Saint-Nazaire, because clearly it's produced lots of benefits over the years, and we see how enthusiastically it's endorsed by our children in our schools, so you know it's really important to us.
This project, Comenius Regio, could have been on really any topic that was of importance to schools in both our two cities. We have a number of schools in Sunderland who are already working on fair trade. In Saint-Nazaire, the journey is probably still a little closer to its starting point and they don't yet have accreditation as a city, but it's something they're really eager to work towards. But there's a real eagerness on the part of lots of the schools to work on fair trade already. So for both sides, it just seemed like a really well-fitting topic.
Le projet va nous permettre d'agir encore d'une manière plus forte sur le fait que Saint-Nazaire, qui n'est pas territoire de commerce équitable, puisse le devenir, et je pense que ça va être une action forte pour nous à Saint-Nazaire, Artisans du Monde, pour que on aboutisse à une charte qui permette que Saint-Nazaire devienne territoire de commerce équitable. Il faut savoir que sur le plan régional, la région est territoire de commerce équitable, mais sur le plan local, donc Saint-Nazaire, il faut que Saint-Nazaire puisse devenir territoire de commerce équitable et nous allons, je pense, œuvrer pour que ça puisse se réaliser.
Bonjour. What's your name? Evan. Barbie. Charlotte. Bravo.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Rosie.
Bonjour, Rosie.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Olivia.
Olivia. Elle aussi, elle a vu le beluga. Bravo.
I think it's given, in some cases, new ideas for work that they could be doing themselves. In some cases, it's just been useful in terms of the reflection that it has brought about in partners themselves to look at their own practice.
When the project started, because we're a secondary school, we wanted to look at the fair trade aspect, but look at humanities as well, and also the teaching of French and English. We sent a lot of resources, lesson plans, activities that we've used in our school in England that they've used in France. So there is more emphasis on the teaching of fair trade in their lessons, which I don't think there was before.
We study fair trade and geography. We investigate the countries and why they need fair trade there, why it's right to have fair trade in that country.
Like Ben & Jerry's, and here's the fair trade footballs and stuff like coffee and tea and chocolate, are all fair trade.
During those incoming visits when schools are hosting, it's fantastic for the learners to have new visitors from another place come into their school and really bring to life the work that they've been doing in their classrooms.
We'd been learning a little song, Sur le pont d'Avignon. I think to the children it was just a little French song, whereas Isabel came and she brought it to life because she knew the action since she had the children up and she knew how, French actually sing it. So that gave it a totally different slant to the song. It wasn't just a song I was relaying out of a book or a CD, it brought it to life for the children. We've done a lot of work about fair trade foods, green and blacks. We had taste testing, we involved the whole school. We've looked at the coat of arms for Saint-Nazaire and we've talked about why it had a ship on it. We've asked Isabel, to tell us about the significance of the coat of arms. We know a lot more about the historical links between Saint-Nazaire and Sunderland. The children had no idea where Saint-Nazaire was, had never heard of it, but now they're more interested in the links between Saint-Nazaire and Sunderland and the importance of the war and everything.
We've actually managed, especially with the exchange, to get a lot of data and a lot of materials to work on. We've been exchanging on the way. You can actually teach fair trade with very, very simple things and very simple facts. So we've actually managed to get there. I've been picking up many ideas that now I'm going to put in place in France, in my classrooms.
I think it's good for the children, especially in our area, to get a wider view of the world. We've linked the fair trade in with a lot of our other topics. A lot of our creative topics are global anyway, so it's put the link in straight away. We also link it in further down the school with work to do with countries and continents. Because of Fair Trade Fortnight being a big event here every year, we've been able to bring it in at that time of year for the entire school. So even if a class isn't learning about it, they've had a couple of lessons linked in. So it might be going in the IT suite and finding out how many different countries sell cocoa, where their coffee beans come from, where the chocolate comes from, interactive activities, learning the breakdowns of the costs, maths lessons with the older children, looking at the financial side, and also the Fair Trade stall that we do in school. Every term we do 2 Fair Trade stalls every half term, and we sell craft goods and sweets and biscuits and cakes as well from the Fair Trade partners.
Could I have some orange juice, please? 60p, please.
They're able to work out the pricing, what they've made, decide what they want to do with the money. So last year when they did that, they voted for the profit that they made, which was a small profit with it being fair trade goods. They'd put that to CAFOD and send that away so that I could buy a goat for a family. So again, it was doing the right thing with the money and not taking the profit for themselves. So it ties into a lot of areas of things that you do in school a lot easier than we thought initially it might. Fits in very nicely with the Rights and Respects agenda. There's been a lot of work in this school in the last couple of years to get the Rights and Respect Level 1 award, and now the children are going for the next step. So they're very aware of the United Nations rights and very aware that for a lot of other children around the world, those rights aren't being met.
They'll be like rolling bananas and they're making the things for us to eat. We're not really doing anything for them. We can like get a better place to live.
The kids, they can get an education and then it can help them a lot.
More money means like you're going to have a better life and you can afford things that you really, really need.
We do lots of design activities and like design t-shirts, fair trade t-shirts, that kind of thing, and if we can, we try and do some cooking with fair trade ingredients.
Show me where the fair trade sign is. How do you know it's fair trade?
I can see over there.
You ready? Is it on? Is it on? Can you see where to put it? All in.
Don't give it a big mix.
One more.
Why is it going all brown instead of that colour? Because it looks like chocolate. That's because it's chocolate fair trade.
It's been really nice for us to work more with Tropical Whole Foods on a local level. They're based in Sunderland. We're really proud of having a fair trade food producer like that right on our doorstep. And so it's been a real chance for us to have our schools work more concretely and more directly with them. So we've done things like visits where we've taken groups, classes of learners from Sunderland schools, including some of the schools in this project directly, to visit the fruit factory at Tropical Whole Foods. They've done tours, they've been involved in workshops and tasting sessions. They've learned lots more about fair trade itself, about the background to the organisation. So having them so locally to support the project has been a real asset for us.
How will we know if it's fair trade or not? How will we know, Ethan, how will we know if it's fair trade in the shop?
If it's got the logo on, then it'll show you the fair trade logo, then you can just take the fair trade logo.
So what could we all do then to help support fair trade and to help our parents help us support fair trade, Andrew?
Eat fair trade and buy it.
I think our colleagues in Sannazzare have been delighted with the partnership, just the same as the colleagues in Sunderland have. The fact that they've been able to share different approaches towards the same issues that both sides are facing has been really useful.
J'avais l'intention en fait de voir comment ça fonctionnait en fait dans ce collège et dans cet établissement, histoire de faire une comparaison avec notre collège à nous, notre façon de fonctionner en France. Et je voulais aussi que les élèves, nous en tant que Français, on n'a pas une réelle conscience en fait de ce qu'est le commerce équitable. Donc en fait, l'intérêt c'était que les élèves, nos élèves à nous Français, découvrent ce qu'est vraiment le commerce équitable et fassent une comparaison avec vous, Anglais.
People, for them, it's brilliant to see what others do in different schools, even in terms of uniform, in terms of school rules, in terms of comparing the two. And again, they can see what they do and we bring the ideas over and vice versa, hopefully.
Développement professionnel. Moi, c'est la première fois que je viens ici, donc c'est la première fois que j'observe, donc forcément j'ai pris plein de notes et il y a plein d'idées qui me sont venues. Donc on va voir ça à la rentrée prochaine. Mais comme je l'ai dit, oui, il y a plein de méthodes et de comportements que j'ai pu observer qui m'intéressent beaucoup, qui sont quand même très différents du système français. Le rapport aux élèves, la façon de travailler, le rythme de travail, voilà.
Alors, ça permet à mes élèves de découvrir une autre culture, de correspondre avec des enfants d'un autre pays. Et en France, c'est très important maintenant que les enfants puissent apprendre l'anglais. Et donc, on commence dès le CP. Et donc, ça fournit un support concret à notre apprentissage, de pouvoir échanger avec des enfants d'un autre pays sur les coutumes, sur la géographie du pays, les modes d'apprentissage.
If I say tu t'appelles comment? What's your name? And then when's your birthday? Can you remember say my birthday?
My birthday est en novembre.
En Angleterre, j'ai été frappée par la relation individuelle à l'élève qui est extrêmement positive, qui est peut-être plus dans l'encouragement que ce que nous pouvons faire, mais en même temps, je dirais que les programmes sont les mêmes et les façons d'enseigner sont très différentes. Donc il y a des points positifs dans les deux pays, plus négatifs.
I think it's been a fantastic opportunity for the children because they can actually
experience what it's like in France for real. It's not just opening a textbook and looking at a meaningless face. I've gained lots of knowledge of fair trade. They've been on lots of visits. We've had lots of visitors into school. So there's been lots of activities going on both inside and outside of school. I've got together a group of my fair trade children who come to me on a Friday lunchtime. We have a little group. What we did was we worked on a song along to the Chocolati song, and we put together some different words for the song. We kept the music, but we changed the words. We made it a fair trade theme because I thought with chocolate being fair trade, a fair trade product, we could match it up.
Fair trade chocolate, a chocolate, fair trade chocolate, a chocolate, fair trade chocolate, a chocolate, fair trade chocolate.
The biggest benefit is to the children who are going to be more aware of the Fair Trade project and the issues and how it affects other people in the world.
As an English teacher in France, I obviously think that to broaden the views of our pupils is a very good thing. And I'm very happy to come back to France with lots of photos, ideas and many things to tell to my pupils about England, and which are real because I've just experienced them. And the only wish I have is that I can bring them here so that they can check for themselves and see for themselves.
Janvier, février, mars. Janvier, février, mars. Quelle est la date de ton anniversaire? Quelle est la date de ton anniversaire?
Well, it's gave children a real life experience, and they understand life in Saint-Nazaire a little bit better. They understand school over there. They've been able to compare and contrast. So certainly it's enhanced their French curriculum.
J'enlève mon, aidez-moi, mon chapeau. J'enlève mon chapeau.
It's a game you can play after having done other things in comprehensions, like for instance, we should have put the animals in different places and in the room, for instance, and we would have asked, oh, show me the cat, show me the mouse. And we used to say in France, before asking them to produce, to actually say a word or a sentence, that they should actually listen to it at least 7 times.
C'est un chien. C'est un chien.
C'est un chien.
Also, through the fair trade topics, they've learnt a lot more about fair trade footballs, chocolate and gold. You know, they really have embraced the whole project.
À la fin du projet, il y a 2 aspects que je veux continuer à développer. L'aspect du commerce équitable, puisqu'on a la boutique d'artisans du monde à Saint-Nazaire. Et donc on va continuer notre partenariat avec eux. Je vais continuer à parler du commerce équitable et je vais essayer peut-être de mettre en place certains événements comme vous, avec le Fair Trade Breakfast Club ou la journée là avec les parents. Donc ça, j'ai trouvé ça très intéressant. Donc on va peut-être essayer effectivement à Saint-Nazaire de mettre ça en place.
It's made us think about our practice. It's impacted on our curriculum planning as well, because now we have a module in both geography and French where we focus in on Saint-Nazaire. Because being a secondary school, one of the things that we find when children are learning a language, they want a cultural background. Otherwise, it's something quite separate. They need to see the reality.
The children talk with excitement about it, and you can see how passionate they are about it, and you can see that they've really had some solid learning experiences that I think they'll remember when they're into adulthood. So the children have been extremely enthused by it.
Definitely not the end, because French is going to be the subject that our children focus on for GCSE, and anything we can do to help our partner school with their development of English and our children with their French, so it will be a long-term project.
It's been good to learn more about fair trade schools in Sunderland and also develop our relationships with businesses in the region.
I think the benefits have been building relationships with different teams. For instance, the international team of the council. It's been fantastic to build relationships with the schools and the teachers who've been involved in the project, and to maintain those links throughout the project and to share ideas between us.
Les systèmes scolaires sont différents dans leur organisation. Cependant, ce qui, moi, m'a frappé, c'est de voir, que ce soit en France ou en Angleterre, à Sunderland, de voir l'envie des enfants d'apprendre, leur envie de découvrir le monde, de découvrir plein de choses, et ça, c'est fantastique.
I think this project has been really successful. We got it moving very quickly. The impact on the schools has been significant. The teachers have been really invested from the very beginning. All partners have been really committed to the project, and we've also managed to engage lots of other partners who weren't officially part of the project from the start. We've managed to involve them in some of the activities that we were leading, so we're really pleased with it.
The toolkit that will come out of it will be a really valuable asset for other schools to benefit. So for all, it's positive that it's a cluster project and there's 4 schools that are involved already. I think almost the very way of working within this project and the toolkit and lessons that come out of it, we would hope would help other schools to learn from that. Not just in Fairtrade, not just in Saint-Nazaire, but more broadly.
The schools and the children that's been involved with the Saint-Nazaire project this time round have built on the projects that have been previously and have done some fantastic work, and it's really given us some great results. So we're very proud of it. We want to keep it going, and we treasure it.